Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. Happy Thursday to you. It is another wet day here on the Sunshine Coast. Today I want to talk about happiness. It's a very passionate topic of mine. It's something that I've been researching and pursuing myself for the last decade or more. I started a podcast. I interviewed a ton of people, thousands of people now, but a lot of people on that topic just alone, on happiness. And it's what I've really dedicated a lot of my time to over the last decade or more, and researched this topic of happiness because I was on that pursuit of happiness, figuring out what it is. What is happiness? And is it external? Is it internal? Why do we chase it? What it all means? Asking why, basically, that question around that topic of happiness. I do believe genuinely that we are all in that pursuit of happiness. We all want to find this deeper level of happiness in our lives. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm not talking about, the pleasures and the excitement times that we have. I'm talking about this deep contentment with life, regardless of the pleasures and pains that we might be experiencing at the moment. This deeper sense of happiness and being content with the lot in life that we've been given, that we are in right now. And why I want to talk about this is because I think a lot of times when we're not happy with our life, when we're feeling a bit dissatisfied, feeling a bit down, feeling sad, feeling unhappy, generally, we try and look for external matters to put blame on that, to box that in that corner, rather than taking it on internally. And I can tell you the greatest gift that we've been given in life, for all of us, is that happiness is within, and it's within our reach right now. So it's a matter of perspective generally on the situation that we're in, the event that happens, the people that are in our lives. Happiness is a choice. Now and I want to talk about this in regards to the workplace, because I think that's where a lot of people feel unsatisfied with their life generally. And the stats, I don't know if these are updated or not, but 85% of the workforce are dissatisfied with their job. And that means 15% of people are satisfied with the job, or perhaps they're not telling the entire truth. But if 85% of us are not happy with our job, that means you're waking up every day going to work where you're spending, at least a third of your day, half your waking hours, in a place where you just aren't finding joy. Now, it might be because you just don't really enjoy what you're doing. That's okay. But you have the power, and it's within your reach to find happiness in that spot in your life. And it's in your ability to actually make a change too, to go out there and look for something else. So I guess one thing that I would do when I'm in those situations is go, okay, why am I dissatisfied? Why am I unhappy in this situation? If you can give yourself some time to reflect and ask yourself that very powerful question, why, you might just find some answers. And I think if you're courageous enough, you'll find that it's within. That actually your discontent in any given situation, in any moment of your life, is actually coming from within. It's nothing to do with what's going on out there. Because at the end of the day, you have the choice to either be happy or not be happy with it. And how you approach that, your attitude that you bring towards that, is totally within your power. So I think that's really important. Now, you could use the example, well, okay, I don't like work because I don't like the boss. I don't get along with him. Okay, why? Why don't you get along with the boss? If you start asking yourself these questions and give yourself time to reflect on it, it might just be a matter of flipping the switch, turning it around, rather than going, I just don't like my boss, and that's it. It's my boss's fault. Taking ownership of that and walking into it with full responsibility. Okay, maybe it's just that I don't understand my boss. Maybe I could sit down with him, have a coffee, try to figure out what his goals and ambitions are. And I can tell you, everyone's the same. We all want happiness. And there might be something in his department that's not making him happy. Maybe it's his boss. Whatever it might be, if you can sit down and seek to understand and ask that question, why, maybe then that will help you understand, okay, well, maybe it's not the boss. It's just how I judged him, or just how I had related to him in the past. And now that I understand where he's coming from, maybe I could do this, which will make me happier in the process, make him happier in the process, and then make the whole day of work more enjoyable. Now, that's just an example about work, but you can put this into any situation in life, really, reflecting on the situation that is making you unhappy, asking yourself why is that situation making you unhappy, and then delve within, dig deep, be courageous. Now, people will often not do this because it's hard to take responsibility. It's hard to go, actually, I'm the cause for the lack of my happiness. Now, I've had a lot of shit happen in my life, not as bad as some, but certainly the last couple of years, I've gone through a lot. Now, it could be easy for me to say, oh, I'm unhappy and it's because of this and because of that, because of that. I've taken full responsibility for it, and I'm going to control this. I'm going to create a level of happiness in my life despite what's happened in my life. I've traveled to some countries across the world, and I'm sure many of us have, and I've gone through some communities in high levels of poverty, conditions of living that are much worse than mine, much worse than many of ours. And I've seen these kids and these adults, and despite their situation, despite the lot that they've been given in life, they're happy. They create their own happiness. I've interviewed people on my podcast that have gone through incredible hardship, losing family members, mothers, brothers, sisters, and all of them. I had one lady on there I remember interviewing, and she lost her father and her brother, all very close together. I mean, the hardships that some people go through. And yes, you go through grief. And yes, you go through times where you're feeling sorrow. But these people seem to take responsibility for it and flip it around and make it the best they can. They choose to make the most of it. They choose happiness. So I think today my message really is that we all have this ability to choose happiness, and that might be hard for you to swallow in whatever situation you might be in right now. But I can tell you now, the level of happiness you derive from life is up to you, and it's your perception that you place on the externals. It's not what the externals give you, because again, I've seen people that have gone through hardship. I've seen people in poverty. I've seen people that have gone through incredible, terrible times be happy. And I've also seen people with riches, people with lots of success be unhappy. Now, how can that be? How can someone have nothing and be very happy? And how can someone have everything and be unhappy? We're placing too much importance on the externals in our life, placing too much attachment to these externals, rather than being satisfied and content with our lot, being satisfied with what we have, being satisfied that with what we have and who we are is enough and sufficient. And if you can do that and let go of the chase of wanting more and be content with this, you'll get more. I'm sure you will, because you'll feel this greater sense of joy. You'll feel this greater sense of happiness in life. And when you start to feel like that, you have this high level of spirit and energy that will allow you to be unstoppable. And I really believe that. So that's my thought today. A bit of a longer rant for you, but I hope you've enjoyed it. Happiness is your choice. Have a great day ahead.